If I speak in tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy, and I can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but I have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor, and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. And that is from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, from verses 1 to verse 7. Verse 1 to verse 7. So that's verses 1 to 7. Corinthians 13. Yes, Reverend, you were saying?
I say actually end in 13. 13 to 13.
Yes, 13 to 13. 13 verses. We have 13 of them.
The greatest is love.
The greatest. It says, and the last one, the last verse, that's 13, says, and now these three remain.
Yeah.
Faith, hope, and love.
The greatest.
But the greatest of these is love. Good evening and welcome to the program Marriage Keys. On Marriage Keys, everything we do here is based off on research. I mean, a lot of it that has shown, or should I say, results from a huge body of research, many of them done by different bodies. They have come out with results that say that when the home is based off of principles, morals that build up a society, that build up both husband and wife, chances of the children who will come from such a home to build or make up society will be the kind of children that will be a blessing to society instead of a curse. You take a look around society today, and I don't know if there's any other program that should be as important as us uplifting the importance of family, the impact that not having a good family or a good family background can cause, not just to a society but a nation. You know, just a few days ago, or should I say a few hours ago, I saw a video of a pastor somewhere in River State who, I don't know, out of maybe for personal reasons or he was just frustrated with what was going on, decided to lay a curse on all these boys that do Yahoo, the way we call it, you know, the confidence scam, 419, whatever it is you might want to call it. And I saw those many boys showing their faces. I mean, I'm talking about boys recording themselves and replying that pastor and saying that, look, there's nothing you can do. Your curses cannot work. We will continue to do this Yahoo job. And there's nothing that you can do. It was brazen. I mean, like, the attitude, filming yourself, not bothering to mask your face, or, you know, just do something to show that even though you're adamant, you're still aware that what you're doing is shameful. But many of these boys went on Facebook and posted their pictures there. and you start to think about the downward, spiral of our society. I'm sure many of you saw the video of that boy who tried to kill his mother. He had the calabash ready, the knife ready, everything. And the woman was waving her hands and saying, "Thank you, Jesus, for saving me." You know, while I'm grateful that the Lord saved her life, I wonder what that boy's upbringing was like. Because the Bible says that let all men be liars, but God true. And if the Bible has told us that bring up a child in the way that he should go, and when he grows up, he will not depart from it, it gives you cause to pause and think about the upbringing of that boy. How was he raised? Who raised him? These are questions, and they lead to so many more. Because you also wonder that if this boy had succeeded, or for the ones that have succeeded in killing their mothers, their fathers, those who are most beloved to them, and then a single girl out of nowhere has the misfortune, I call it misfortune, of being picked by this boy for a spouse. And maybe he has had a pact with the devil that all his children will come out flawed in some way or the other. And then the mother will start running around and saying, "God, what have I done? I'm your child. I've done all that you have asked me to do. Why are my children coming out flawed?" And she doesn't even know the pact that her husband and the devil have had. Or there's just one misfortune after the other in that home, and she cannot or will not be able to, because of course she's in it, link her husband's actions, or the wife's actions for that matter, to the pacts that they have had because of the love of money. So there are many things that would like to talk about today, but I'd like for us to start with the bringing up of our children, and not just from what we say, it's also from what we do. And this is where I'd like to thank them for their patience, for waiting for me to ramble. Mr. Emmanuel Ogbaki and Reverend Joe Adejo are both here. I'd like to thank you for being here. Good evening and welcome to both of you.
Good evening.
The raising up of children. I talked about the video of the woman who was thanking God for delivering her from the hands of her son. And for me, I asked the question, what kind of upbringing? Is it possible for a child to have been brought up in a good way, in a home where father and mother were not just in love with each other? This does not mean that there were no problems, but the children saw them sort it out. In a home where even when they didn't have enough, they saw father and mother manage. Now, my question to Reverend Adejo, let's start with you. Is it possible for a child to be brought up in a godly home and still turn out to be a child like that young man that we saw who tried to kill his mother?
Yeah, the answer is yes and no. You see, the Bible, God cannot lie. The scripture has made it clear to us that we should train up our child the way, we should bring up a child the way, train up a child the way he should go. And when he is grown, when he's old, he will not depart from that path. Now, it is not because you just go to church, go to some homes now. On Sunday, you will find out that some men will drop their wives in the church and come back home. And the child is at home and is watching. All right? And in such a home, you can never have a balanced upbringing of a child. No matter whatever the mother does, the child in the house will look up to the father. And that is the first place that a child will stick to the training that he's given while growing up. Now, we know that nobody can just sit down and boast of himself, because the scripture made us to understand that the devil, like a roaring lion, goes to and fro, seeking whom he may devour. So those who think they are grounded in Christ and they begin to follow friends, before you know it, the influence of a friend will overtake you. And then you begin to act the way you are not supposed to act.
Reverend, let me quickly jump in. That means that there's cause to doubt what the Bible has said.
Not at all.
If the Bible says bring up the child in the way that he should go, and when he grows up, he will not depart from it.
Maybe you didn't hear when I said, if the man who is supposed to, with the wife, two of them bringing up a child,
okay,
if one of them is not following the rule,
okay,
it means there is a crack already. I told you that a man will wake up in the morning, carry his wife, go to church, and he will come back home and stay. And the child may follow the mother, but he will ask the mother, why is daddy at home? Why is daddy not following us? And then you will begin to become curious about the father not being in the church, and then he will begin to show interest more in the things that the father does. The reason is this: when people are put in a position as if it is like you are forcing them to do a thing, they may not know the value. And that is what happens to many. That is what happens to many. When they are doing a thing, when they are being controlled religiously or controlled in a manner that will better their life, they will think they are in prison. And I tell you, there are many people that think they are in prison. But when they are let loose and they begin to practice what the devil has planned for them, then they know that it is too late for them. So it is not out of place at all for a person that comes from a home that is divided not to be tried by the devil or capture him when he is grown. Because from the beginning, the foundation is already destroyed. And that's what happened. But when it is firm, I have witnessed. I don't want to use my home as an example so that it doesn't look as if I am proud. Everything that you do is by grace of God. Do you hear me? It is by the grace of God. The other day, I was troubled about the friends that the last born was keeping. And I called my son. I said, look, these people that you are that are coming to you, you are not going to them, but they are coming to you. I am not at ease. You know what he told me? He said, Dad, this one I'm talking about is 22 years old. He said, Dad, I have seen those you have not seen some of my friends that come around here with Lexus. Some of them come with big cars. He said, look, I am advising them. I can never deviate. Look, I have abandoned many of them that refuse to heed my advice. So, Daddy, don't be afraid. What you have put right inside of me, nothing can take it away. And I was very, very happy. And I relaxed. You get me? So, if wife and husband that are believers bring up their children in the way of God, I tell you, that child will not deviate.
Right. So that brings us, but before then, can I just tell you people that my evening has been made. Pastor Dodo just came in while we were talking. I'm just so grateful for her health, for her being able to join us. Pastor Dodo, you're welcome. So great to have you. Joy, please could you help me adjust?
I think
this.
You can have this.
Thank you so much, Joy. Yeah, thank you, Joy Lekot. And we bless the name of the Lord for good health for Pastor Dodo. Indeed, many people sent private messages to me, prayers. I'm sure some sent messages to you. We're really glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be here.
I was thinking
It's so good to hear your voice, because her voice was all cracked up and everything. But thank God for her. But before I come to Pastor Dodo, let's allow her drink water and keep cup. Let's talk to Mr. Ogbaki. Mr. Ogbaki, there are people who will tell you that the worst gangsters, the worst individuals, different people that you would find are people who come from a pastor's house. You know, children, you know, if you want to see people who do drugs, who party, who have no qualms about throwing morals away, you would find them to be, you know, pastors' children. And so the question here is, what's going on? Why are we seeing people say this? Because it's from experience. Why are we seeing this? If God has said to us, bring up a child in the way that he or she should go, and when he grows up, he will not depart. The Bible didn't say maybe he will not depart. The Bible was categorical, saying he will not depart from it. So why are we seeing this contradiction in your opinion?
In where?
In your opinion.
Okay.
Why are we seeing the it seems to be a contradiction. That's what I'm saying. No, not in Europe, right here at home.
Yeah, okay, so Proverbs 13 verse 24 says, whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. Wow. So this seeming contradiction is very obvious. I mean, there's an obvious reason to it. It's very obvious, just like Reverend said, that or implied that there is no unity of purpose in that home. So the mother is going south, the dad is going north, and I mean, the father is trying to discipline this boy. The mother keeps saying he's just a child, let him be. Or the opposite. The mother is trying, the father is saying, no, let him be. So this is what we see. And, you know, in such homes that you have, that you're referring to, we see the absence of the father figure. So 99% of the times he's out there, ministry, evangelism, and all sorts. He's not there. Sometimes you'll have to travel for a week or two or a month, and all of these burden are on the mother. The truth is, the mother cannot take care of the home alone at all. Research again and again in this 21st century is indicating that children need their fathers in the home. Boys who are raised without father figures are most likely to end up doing drugs and end up in jail. Girls without father figures are most likely to end up pregnant and become single mothers and all of that. Now, in Proverbs 29:15, it says, a rod and a reprimand imparts wisdom, but a child left undisciplined disgraces its mother. So the Bible is careful about, the Bible is clear about the word discipline, and it must be done together. You can't be scolding a child that you are not doing what is right. The father is scolding, for instance, and the mother is saying, just allow her now, she's just a child, or allow him, he's just a child, he will pick up you. You can't do that. He's going to find solace in the mother, and so each time the father reprimands him, he's going to run to the mother, or vice versa. So the point is that there must fundamentally be unity of purpose. The father and the mother must be deliberate, must have one voice when it comes to parenting in the home front. Otherwise, you will have this kind of situation where in Christian homes and the homes of pastors and men of God, children go south.
So let me come to Pastor Dodo. Mr. Ogbaki has highlighted, the issue about discipline when parents do not have one voice. But going back to the book of First Corinthians chapter 13, and you read from verse 1 where it says that even if you speak in the tongue of men and of angels, but you have no love, you are only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. It even goes further to say if you have the gift of prophecy and you can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, if you have faith that can even move mountains, that means that if you even have the power of, healing following you and all of that, but you have not love, I have nothing. I want to talk about the practice of love in many homes, especially in homes of pastors. Because, Mr. Ogbaki, I have seen a girl who, when we're talking about discipline, it was strict. But the moment she got into university, she went south, to use your phrase.
Yeah. Again, sorry to cut you on
yes,
that.
Yes.
Paul is very clear on that in Ephesians 6:4. He says, "Fathers, do not exasperate your children, lest they become discouraged." So when discipline becomes, I don't know. I'm just trying to use a decent word. I don't want to say hatred, because sometimes the discipline becomes seemingly like the father hates the child. And when you do that, when the home is no longer a home, you don't have that warmth of love. The child will look for love. It's supposed to be organic. The home front is supposed to be where they find love, where they find joy and peace. But as soon as the father pulls over his car in the car park, in the car lot, the children are scampering, all of them, even the rats in the house, are looking for where to hide and enter. No, there is no love in such a home. The children will get discouraged. And in as much as they try to behave, because like Mommy Dodo will say, the lion of the tribe of that home is back. As they try to behave, because the lion of the tribe of that family is at home now, once they go out, they will balance. They will find that balance they've been looking for, what they lacked at home. So whether it is good love, whether it is bad love, whatever kind of feeling, self-esteem and self-confidence they could get from a boyfriend or a girlfriend or negative friend or even society, they will embrace it.
Pastor Dodo, let me come to you. The absence of, in many African homes, we have come to view show of affection, even between husband and wife, as indecent. I don't know how we got to that point, but even a man caressing his wife's hair, or God forbid, to be seen losing her braids for her, or, something to denote affection, not necessarily giving a French kiss or anything like that, but to even see connection between two people has become taboo. And that's where I'm going with this. Would you agree that this could be, a factor in what we're talking about, impacting negatively?
Good evening, everybody. I feel that the way that you bring up your children matters a lot. And both of you, right, before these children come, you must be able to, identify or have a picture of how you want your home to be. And then it means that you have to follow that pattern, right? You talked about pastors that are not always at home,
or even affectionate when they are at home.
Yes, and I think what happens is my friend she's a pastor, and her husband is also a pastor, and she told me, she said, when she sees her husband, giving everybody time, being affectionate to everybody, she wonders, is this really my husband? Because by the time he gets home, he has not had time for her, neither does he have time for the children. He now feels that it is their responsibility to take care of him. So when he comes home, he doesn't have time for any one of them. So they are always the one running around him and all that, after he has given out his affection to everybody outside. And I think most pastors have that kind of attitude. They feel, this is my congregation, let me give them my best. And he gives everything out. When he comes home, He wants to eat and sleep, and then he's gone. So he doesn't know what is happening, or she, because now we have female pastors, he or she doesn't know what is happening to the children. You don't put them first. But I feel that your first congregation should be your wife and your children. When they look at your wife and your children, they should see who you are from them. So most pastors don't have time for their family because they are moving from one family to the other, trying to solve their problems. So you see, when a child, like what you say, grows up in the absence of a father, and she goes maybe to the university and discovers, oh, my father is not here, no matter how strict he is, oh, my father is not here. And most of the times these children react out of resentment for the parents. I'm out of your house, there's nothing you can do to me, because he didn't give them time, he or she didn't give them love, he or she didn't listen to them. They start going outside, and then they have peer pressure. They have people that are willing to listen to them. So because they have those people there that are willing to listen to them, those people are able to affect them negatively, because that's the first time that they are having love outside the family. All right. So that is why most of the times you see pastors' children, some of them run to me. Some of them tell me, Mommy, how do you manage to have time for your children? And I tell them, my children are the first. They are the most important people in my life first. And God will ask me about them before he asks about the congregation that he has given you. So your children is first. Your first. Your children should be able to say, I will not do that because I will hurt my mom, and I would hurt God by doing that. Because they know they can always come home. They know the house is warm. They know they can talk to you about everything, and you would listen to them. But I'm telling you, most pastors don't have that time, because they are spent by the time they come home. They just sleep early in the morning, they eat, and off they go again, trying to solve problems in other people's home. I told a lady came to me, she needed an advice. I said, go and tell your pastor. She said that her pastors, the example she sees in her pastor's home is not anything to go by. So she will not want to go and confide in that pastor because he has nothing to tell her. And I told the man, and he was sober. I said, is your home first? People look at your home first when they come for counseling. If they see they like what they are seeing, then they can come to you. But as long as you go and you are talking to people, they will listen to you just because you are their pastor. All right? And after you go, they have something to say about it. So it's our family. Our families should come first. Our children should know that they can walk to us and talk to us about anything. They should know that we can fight and make up. They should know that we'll be able to listen to them. You know, some children will say, my father, my mother, they don't listen. Not that we don't talk, but they just don't listen. They seem not to hear what we're telling them. We have told them over and over again, but it seems as if each time we're talking as if it's new. That's because they don't listen. So when you have a family that the father most especially doesn't listen to the children, and you find out that he's always occupied, whether he's a pastor or a bishop, he's not always around, you'll discover that it will be very easy for the children to derail. But when he knows that, oh, my parents are there for me, I can always walk to my parents and talk to them, and they will listen to me, and at least we can disagree to agree. I have that right to tell them, no, I don't agree with you. And the father will say, come, let us reason together. But when you don't, when your child has an opinion and you are like, oh, no, the lion has come, I'm the head of this home, you can't tell me that, then you won't know what is in your children's minds.
And many times you find that men who do not, especially men who do not have or give that space for differing opinions in their home, especially from kids that are already young adults, are men who do not also entertain differing opinions from their spouses.
Yeah.
It's actually from the spouses that it starts. They see that, oh, you know, this man is not someone that I can really tell how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And then you see most of the times there's a gang up against him. The wife and the children are in one camp. He is on one camp. That is why most people say, oh, these women, when the children are grown up, all the children seem to just take care of their mom, because the mom was the one there for them. No matter how much time you spend on getting money for the family, and then the money that the men of the home even get, you discover that most of them don't even go to the family. It goes to their relations, their village meetings, it goes back to the church, and sometimes you see their children living in lack. So who are they actually working for? So by the time the children have grown up and the mother is always there with them, they are always drinking gari together or eating tuwo, the little that they have, you discover that we are members of one camp. So each child gets married. When he gets married, they always want mommy to move from one house to the other and allow him to stay in that house that he has built. There's nobody there for him. It's because you are just not there for your family.
Let me share experience.
Yes, Reverend.
Because solution to this matter is a serious matter. You see, to be a pastor is not, it's a high calling. To be a pastor is a high calling. And it is also important to know that as a pastor, the first place you must put right is your home. Mm-hmm. If your home is not put right and you want to be a pastor, the Bible does not permit it. The Bible, you must be able to rule your own home before you talk about ruling the larger something. Now, let me tell you this. A lot of men, including some pastors, since we have brought them in, they are not friends to their children.
Because many times they're not friends with their wives.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they are not even friends to their wife. And so the child or the children are not seeing any example. They don't see their father and their mother talking together, laughing together, and falling on each other. No. But they see everybody at his or her own corner. And that is not a good example. Now, we've spoken about how you should be able to take care of your children. Now, you don't lock up your children because you're unable to buy them groundnut or you're able to take them out. No. You must endeavor to carry your children out when you are going out with your wife. As children, don't lock them in and then you are going out. Look, I have seen a place where family lock their children up, even the child that is up to 18 years old. When visitors are coming in, they run inside as if they are banned from. Look, such people, when they get out from such home, they will be loosed because the freedom they've been looking for, they have not gotten. And you see them practicing all sorts of things. Now, I give everything that a child should have to my children. By God's grace, I have only one daughter. And people said, girls like chicken. Do you know what? I baptized her with chicken. So that if any man comes, look, I'm taking you to buy you chicken. She is not moved. My father gave me enough of it. You hear what I'm saying? So you don't see such children that are close to their parents get loose and then do whatever they like that. No. I advise that parents should take their children as their friends, not headmaster and students. No. Your children should be your friend, just like your wife should be your friend, so that two of you can team up together and bring up your children in a godly manner. If not, whatever they see in the home, that is what they demonstrate outside.
Absolutely. Reverend, I do remember, I mean, like way back when Doba Hotel was still standing, my father and, my siblings would go to the swimming pool with other families. My mom had, fear of water, she would be sitting to one side, and all of us would be together, go out. I'm still trying to find my way to Kangimi Dam. There's a place they used to call Kangimi Dam. I don't remember where it was, but my father took us, out there way back then.
Yes.
And honestly, I can tell you that it impacted on me, because at the time when I was in school, when people would be like, oh, we want to go out to Durbar Hotel, or we're going to swim at Hamdallah, it didn't excite me.
Because you have been there.
Yeah.
Right, because I had been there, done that. It's not like I didn't go once or twice, but it wasn't like
new.
It wasn't new.
Yes.
Right. It wasn't new to me. And because of that, I think I was largely spared a lot of heartache that my mates went through while we were in university. I was spared that because I grew up see my mom and dad show us what the twist was like.
Yeah,
they would dance. They used to have dance-offs in the parlor. My mom would say, look, you're old, let me show the kids how to dance. And he would be saying, who are you calling old? And they would go at it for like a few minutes, and everybody would,
laugh and
sit and all of that. So I think it has
Impacts.
a lot of impact.
If I might say something.
Yes, Pastor.
I remember when I was young, my dad spoke about everything, everything. From menstruation, we spoke about it with him. How boys used to put drugs in girls' minerals.
Right.
How they can put things on suya and all that. We were all girls, we were 7 girls, 1 boy. So he would sit us down, we'll talk and we'll gist. And then by the time you are leaving university, my father would take you out for dinner. He would talk heart to heart with him, all of us. And I think why I didn't follow aviation boys, or why I didn't come to NDA when everybody was actually going out on a Friday,
Right.
was not really because I was afraid of God. No, it was not the God factor. It was because I did not want to disappoint my father. Because he had this and you will come to Zaria, you come to CARS, he will see us in ABU, he will come, visit us once in a while. And I just made up my mind, this man that is showing me so much love, I'm never going to disappoint him.
Yeah.
And I promised my father, that I will not know any man, because he made me to promise, said, keep yourself. And I promised that to him. The temptations come, yes, I was tempted, but any time I remember the time my father spent with me, the things he told me, the promise I made to him, not to God, when I remember that, it kept me. And I remember when Elijah came, I told him, I said, I have vowed to my father, I'm not going to know any man except the man I married. I said, that's the vow I took to my father. Even when my father died, I was not yet married. I kept that vow. I couldn't see God, but I remembered the times we shared with my father.
No, because in that instance, he was the representative of God
yes,
in your life.
Yes. And I made sure I told my husband, I said, see, why I kept myself was because of the relationship I had with my father. I knew he cared.
That's good.
I knew I could always go to him. In fact, when I started a relationship with my husband, I told my father, I want this relationship to end. I didn't go to my mom. And he said, well, I told him that, my husband is too jealous. We laughed, he will advise me. He was always the one I came to until he died and my mom took over. So, men, you have a very important role to play in your daughter's life.
Indeed.
I remember my daughter, when she was in secondary school, a young man came and met her and told her, oh, you are looking very beautiful. And she said, I know, because my father is always telling me. So you have a very big role to play in your daughter, because all of us are looking for the characteristics of our fathers in our own husbands. So you are the first knight in a shining armor that your daughter knows, or you are the worst example of a husband that she knows. You see that she runs away from men like you, or she yearns for somebody that is like her dad that gave her time. So men, you don't know how important a good relationship with your daughters are. And I discovered that it was not only me. I thought I was very special until when Daddy died, and all of us were, oh, Daddy took me to Hamdallah. This is the discussion we had with him. Oh, and remember, we're 7 girls. And he made sure all 7 of us, he had time for us. You could always go to him in the study and say, Daddy, I want to talk to you. And he would drop everything he's doing and he would hear you out. And when my father is angry with you, you could tell him, when he has finished, you tell him, oh, Daddy, I came to explain to you my own side. He will listen to you. And he was never too proud to say, I am sorry. And I learned that from him.
Yeah.
If he was wrong, he will never tell you that he will not feel too big to tell you that he's sorry. And woe betide you, if you do something and he comes home and meets mommy beating you, he will join hands and beat before you even ask what is wrong with you.
Exactly.
What happened? So we knew we couldn't run anywhere. We better behave when we see Daddy coming back, when mommy is beating us. Oh God, the beating is going to be times 2, because they were together. We saw them together, doing things together. So it gave us an example of what we should do in our marriage, and we knew that they had one voice. If you go to Daddy and say something, he will tell you the same thing that my mom will tell you. To know that they were united as a family. There was no magic in bringing up all 7 girls. It was just that they made time out for us. Please,
and they love
fathers,
themselves.
please have time for your girl child.
You know, a lot of times they say, if house good, na mama. If house bad, na mama. It's a myth. We need you very much in our lives and in our homes, men. You are the head. I mean, there's no substitution. There's no substituting you. And so what are you showing your children? Let's quickly open up the phone lines. I think the question I would like answered this evening from outside there would be, why do you find it hard to show affection to your wife? Why do you find it hard for your children to see that your wife has a say in what happens in the home? What exactly makes you so aloof when you're at home? A lot of men, when you're out there, you're jovial, you're hugging
Very
people,
kind.
so kind. And the moment you get home, is someone
Lion
different.
Of the tribe of his home.
Glued to TV.
Yeah, glued to the TV, no time, irritable, short-tempered, very aloof. In fact, anybody who wants to approach you at that time to say something or complain or, you know, just to have your attention, thinks twice by the time they call your name and you turn to look at them in the face.
A formed face.
Yeah, that face is
face.
just says stay away. So what exactly, and this is not to say there are no women like this too, so let's have a conversation. Let's be honest. Just what is it that makes it difficult for us to show affection? Because I think a lack of affection and love in our homes and of course leads to not having one voice when it comes to disciplining our children is also a part of it. But can you imagine the mother whose son almost killed her? Now, for a lot of us who still have young children, God is still giving us the opportunity to do right. This woman who was narrowly escaped her son's knife, there's no remedy. I mean, that is just gone. So for those who still have children at home, we still have a chance to get it right. So let's talk. Hello, good evening. The lines are open, 081 40,000 989 and 07087 800 989. Once again, that's 081 40,000 989 and 07087 800 989. So let's hear from you. So many homes, affection lacking. In fact, my love for, talking about democracy, governance, came from my father. He would read the newspapers, and if anything caught his attention, he would be like, can you imagine? And, pull us into the conversation. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, you're welcome, sir. Your name?
My name is Ayuba from Narai.
Abraham, you're welcome.
Ayuba.
Okay, Ayuba, Mr. Ayuba, you're welcome. Please go ahead. Go ahead with
Yes.
What is it? Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Oh, okay. I wanted to hear from people who are living that situation already, but please go ahead quickly.
Okay, I just want to affirm what the pastor has been saying concerning the fact that even if you stay with good friends, it has either been bad or not, or if you are caged at once you are free. Because I'm a living testimony is all what you said. I grew up in a home whereby the house was so strict, and then when I became free, I was tempted to go and taste what I was lacking. So I just want to say all what you said are correct, and I'm grateful that it applies to me.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate you affirming that what they've said is true. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'd like to quickly, thank you too, acknowledge on our Facebook page we have, okay, we're having feedback. All right. I would like to acknowledge Don Terry. Good evening to you too. And God bless you too. Don Terry saying God bless you. Wishington George Ayuba, he says he's sending his special greeting to all of us. May God bless you too. Sheba W. John, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Doris Jato, she says, thank you all for being a source of blessing to many. May God continue to grant you more grace and wisdom. Thank you so much, Doris. Esther Bassi, Esther, good evening to you too. And and to the Reverends, more grace. Don Terry, he says, welcome back. I beg your pardon. He says, welcome back, Mommy. That's to Pastor Dodo. Jeremiah James, thank you for your words of encouragement. Joe Eli, he says, thanks a lot. Watching you live from Narai. Thank you so much, Joe. Shadrach Bamidele, he says, good evening to everyone. Mubarak Jibril Himma, thank you. He's also saying, okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Victor Adiba is saying that, good evening, my correct family. First, I want to thank God for my mother in the Lord's coming back. I'm blessed in this program every Sunday. And that's for Pastor Dodo. Thank you so much, Victor Adiba. Emmanuel D. Don, thank you so much. And of course, Washington again sent a message for us, encouraging us. Thank you so much. All right, let's take another call. Unfortunately, that call got dropped. Please continue to try. Let's hear from you. Why is it difficult to show your wife affection or your husband affection in front of the children? Hello, good evening. Good evening. Can you hear us? Hello? Okay. We cannot hear you. I don't know why. Okay. Must be the network. All right, still trying to take your calls because we must get a feel from you. You know, even in church, even in the car, you see husband and wife, they're like, I'm always like pleasantly, not surprised, I'm just happy when I see husband and wife and they're laughing or whispering to each other, because I just know, you know, it gives you that feeling that all is well. But when, I mean, there's even a gap, even in church, there's a gap between them. You know, you see it. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Comrade Megari on the line.
Yes, Comrade Megari, go ahead. You're welcome.
I had such an experience with a younger sister.
What was her problem? Showing affection?
The experience was actually that whenever the husband is annoyed with her, he takes it on the children, as small as they are. So one day she left the house in annoyance and came to my house with the children, that the father is always beating them whenever he's annoyed. At that time he was a bit unfaithful. And so he was just looking for excuses. And so I now said to her, okay, from today, you are going back to your husband's house. But from now, whenever he beats a child, and you know he is trying to deal with you and doing it on the child, just help him beat the child. Don't worry about how the child will cry. Help him and tell the child not to disobey. is his or her father. Because a child may be 3-5 years and he will just be beating the child just to make the woman annoyed. And so I told her to help him beat the child in return. And when she took my advice, honestly speaking, the marriage started coming back to normal, and with that, they so loved each other that they started producing children even to the Thank you very much.
Okay, that gives cause for concern. A 5-year-old and 2 adults going down on that child.
And
Well,
the child doesn't know what he has done.
Make her lose confidence.
I don't know.
That's it.
We always, say that find the key that works for you.
No. You are just trying to bring two people together, and the child is taking pay for it. No,
A 5-year-old.
5-year-old.
Okay. Well, no judgments here. If it worked for them, she says they produced even more children. Thank God that they didn't kill that child.
That
but
child will grow up and
you have
begin
to think
beat too.
about even the child's sense of self-esteem.
Yes.
I don't know. It worked for them, we've run out of time. But words of wisdom to go through the week with, having in mind all that we've heard today. Mr. Ogbaki.
Okay, just like you read Paul's letter to the Corinthians, chapter 13, gives us qualities in love, what love truly is. Parents must show love to their children, but first and foremost, fathers must love their wives, and wives must equally love their husbands. Girls in homes as such will say, I want to marry a man like my father, and the boys will say, I would love to marry a woman like my mom. Now this is because they've seen this love at home. They've seen the depth of love, this selfless love, this love that doesn't hold any grudge, this love that is truly speaking love in every sense of the word, this sacrificial love. They've seen it. And so I just want to call out on parents, rather encourage parents this week to show some sense of an uncommon kind of love, what you've not done, some deep sacrifice this week to your children and to your spouses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ogbaki. Reverend.
Yeah. The best gift a husband can give to the wife is to love the children. The same vein, the best gift a wife can give to the husband is to love the children. And when wife and husband begin to love, the children will follow suit. It is a way to go.
Pastor.
Yeah, please, I would like to speak specifically to fathers. Please love your daughters. Show them that they are your princesses. And when you do that, there's no how a man outside can convince them to do otherwise, because they know you are always there for them. And please, listen to your children. I'm not just saying look at them when they are talking and thinking elsewhere. Listen to your children, because when they talk to you, they'll be telling you their problems, And I discovered that the best time to even listen to your children is when you are bringing them back from school, when they are small. In the car, ask them what happened today. And when your children go to the secondary school, when they're at home, find out what is happening to them in school. And when they go to the university, just know that they are no more children. Treat them with respect.
Okay.
So listen to your children.
All right. Several messages also came in. Wishington George says that I'm learning a lot. This is how my uncle trained me well. Like as that woman is talking, give action is very important. Okay. So Bola Joko, thank you so much. We appreciate your message. Beatrice Johanna says, good evening. For me, it is not good for a spouse to show affection in front of the kids. Okay, so that's an interesting one. Beatrice, please tell us why, because we'll start from there next week, God willing. Ibrahim Mohammed says, well, our day was great. Thank you, Ibrahim. He says, actually, some fathers are the ones making problems in the upbringing of the children of the family. And have a pleasant night too, Ibrahim. If you would expatiate, come next Sunday, God willing, would start from there. My mother, Don Terry says, never supports our father, and it was just as if our father is wicked. But now I always say I wish she helped him in the discipline. And Bola Joko, thank you for your other message. Please keep sending in your messages. They mean a lot because it helps us get a feel of what is out there and what we should really, really concentrate on in our discussions, of course, using biblical precepts as our foundation. And I would like many thanks to Mr. Emmanuel Ogbaki, Reverend Joe Adejo, and Pastor Patience Dodo. We know that God who started the healing is more than able. In fact, is completed in you. Amen. Thank you so much, all three of you, for making out time this Sunday. Sundays are not the easiest of times to give your time, but thank you.
Thank you.
Until next week, we say it all the time, but it works. Fan that love to flame. It will serve you at the end of the day. If you do not believe me, ask that woman who escaped her son's knife. Remain victorious.